till the lights go down, 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 till the lights go down, down, down. I've been feeling alright, I've been taking.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Crypto Vibes here, also known as Crypto, bringing you guys another video. And today, guys, I've got my week 2 matchup in the Krash, going up against SwordsofThrustice, also known as Mike, and his I don't remember exactly what his name was, like Canadar Crocodiles. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It starts with a K, I know that. It's something Crocodiles, but either way, we are 1-0 after a nice 2-0 win against Roscoe last week in a pretty close match where my Scarfed Gardevoir getting paralyzed actually traced Quick Feet from Jolteon, and it came in clutch and just was able to sweep up the game. This week we're looking to bring it again just because I had so much fun bringing it last week, and it also was a very good matchup this game. So, but yeah, anyways, talking about Swords in general, seems like a really nice guy and stuff. This is his first season in the league, so I'm excited to be able to play him. As I'm going to go ahead and put the teams up on the screen right now, and as you guys can see, you see my team. I have the same team as week 1. Nothing really changed. I'll go ahead and go over it real quick. We have Z Landorus, Therian, Megalopony, Z Kartana, Greninja, Amoongus, Arcanine, Gardevoir, Rhyperior, Pangoro, Slowbro, and Golbat. And on Sword side, this team is a bit crazy, so we'll go ahead and go over it real quick. He's got the Z Tapu Koko, Z Tornadus, Therian, Mega Alakazam, Gengar, Cobalion, Tentacruel, Lycanroc, Dusk, Noivern, Shaman, Ambipom, and Diglett. Now, his slowest one on his team is Diglett at base 95 speed. Everything else is above that, so this man's definitely got the speed control right from the beginning. So my thought process going into this game was try to somehow win the speed control matchup, whether it was to bring multiple Scarfers, whether it was to bring, I don't have Sticky Web so I can't do that, whether it was to bring Trick Room, whether it was to bring Paralysis in general to try to paralyze him. Just some kind of way to gain speed control of my own, because defensively checking a team like this with this much speed and this much firepower is really tough. Granted, most of it is special, but my special walls on my team aren't exactly amazing, so that's something to keep in mind going into this. So I'm definitely going to want to try to get speed control with certain mons on my team. That being said, I can go ahead and get into my team builder being right off the bat. I'll go ahead and say a few huge threats on this team. I will say is 2 big threats, and off the top of my head are the Mega Alakazam is a big threat because it just genuinely outspeeds everything on my team. And I don't really have, my 2 dark types get destroyed by Dazzling Gleam, so that's definitely a big threat in general for Mega Alakazam there. And then the Gengar is also a big threat for my team. Considering I don't have the greatest switch-ins to it in general. I mean, I guess a Spadef Rhyperior can switch into some things, but he definitely could have coverage for that, so I gotta be careful about that. But anyways, getting into my first one on the team, I was looking at Gardevoir for this week's matchup, and a Spadef Gardevoir with Wish Passing actually just looked really, really good here, as it's going to be my prime switch into Tornadus Therian as well as Noivern. Looking at the rest of his team, it can also take a couple hits from non-item boosting special Tapu Koko. It can take hits from Tentacruel. It can take hits from Shaman. Very nicely. This being my main Tornadus check is also really nice because Tornadus has the Regenerator ability. As you guys can see, we have the Trace ability on this Gardevoir right here. It's kind of hard to see with my layout or with the overlay on this, but Trace on my Gardevoir is going to be really nice because I can trace the Regenerator from the Tornadus. It doesn't force me to automatically Wish. I could, offensively pressure something with Moonblast or Psyshock, which to those 2 moves he does not have a resist to, which is really, really good. And then proceed to switch out with my regen that I trace from the Tornadus, so I can ultimately keep this thing pretty healthy, which is just something I really liked in general here. No speed on Gardevoir because, like I said, his fastest one on the team is Diglett, so there's really no point in trying to creep anything if we're running a Spadef Gardevoir anyways. So yeah, Gardevoir is going to be getting outsped by everything on his team most likely. But that is not to be too big of a problem, considering this thing's main job is to soak hits from some of his special attackers and pass wishes accordingly. So that's the idea with that. I think I don't know why exactly I had the Spadef and special attack investment. I think I wanted enough special attack to 2-hit KO something. I believe it let me 2-hit KO Mega Alakazam with Moonblast with the HP investment I expect him to have, which is enough. He'll have enough speed to outspeed Megalopony at max speed, I think, with the HP going in, or with the rest of his EVs. He'll be like max special attack, but then the rest of his EVs going into HP. And I think what this special attack does is allows me to Moonblast 2-hit KO Mega Alakazam every time, which is really nice. So that's the Gardevoir set. I think he can do a lot of work here. Walls a lot of his team. Offensively, like I said, Moonblast and Psyshock hits everything. So that's very good. I've got to be careful about Mega Alakazam being Calm Mind though, because that definitely could be a problem. But at the same time, I think he's forced into some move slot syndrome this game. So I don't know if he has room for Calm Mind. But anyways, next mod we have here is my Mega Lopunny. This thing goes ham on his team. We're rocking Fake Out, Return, High Jump Kick, and Substitute. Fake Out's generally there just because it's very nice for the Mega Alakazam. Getting any kind of chip off on that is great, obviously because it outspeeds me. So it's really good there. He doesn't have a switch into Return plus High Jump Kick. Not many teams do because this thing is unresisted, I believe. Just its 2 stabs in general right there, which is very good because it has the ability once it Mega Evolves in... what is it called? Scrappy, Scrappy, of course. But yeah, that's really good, obviously, for Mega Lopunny. We're not running max speed, actually. We're running enough speed to creep Tapu Koko, and we have the rest. We have 40 into HP, and then the rest into attack right here. As it's pretty self-explanatory EV spread, but the idea behind the moveset is Fake Out, Return, High Jump Kick seems pretty self-explanatory. But then we have Substitute on here. Substitute's really nice because the way his team works against Mega Lopunny is, I feel like he's going to be put in a lot of situations where he may just have to sack something to Mega Lopunny, whether it's going to be something weakened off or something just not valuable to him in the matchup, just to get in his Mega Alakazam to try to revenge this. If I can get a Substitute up on one of his sacks and then knock out the sack, then he's forced to break my sub with something, and then I can get off another huge hit off on something or potentially kill something. So that's the kind of idea behind Substitute. I feel like if he's in a position, like I said, where he's forced to sack something off, then Substitute could grant me a really nice momentum in the game. And that was the idea behind that. I did debate Substitute or Quick Attack for a while. Quick Attack was nice because Fake Out into Quick Attack would be really good for Mega Alakazam, but I thought Substitute over the long run could be better overall against his team. But yeah, that's Mega Lopunny. Next one on my team we have here is my Choice Scarf Greninja with Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, U-Turn, and Hydro Pump. We're running enough speed, I believe, 363 to outspeed a Choice Scarfed Ambipom, which is definitely something that is possible if you decide to run a max speed in Ambipom. I didn't want to creep like an Ambipom creeping something else on my team. I just wanted to play it safe with this, as we're running 252 in special attack and 56 in attack. A naive nature just because his priority comes from Lycanroc and Ambipom, and those are both on the physical side, so I'd rather have a naive nature than a hasty if I'm having to take any kind of priority, which was my thought process there. But overall, yeah, this thing's really good because it outspeeds Scarf Gengar, gives me something to outspeed Mega Alakazam, which is definitely very important. Those are generally the two main ones. He does have pretty decent switchiness to this, and the Tentacruel, and I guess Shaman's not bad as well if he's a pretty sped up Shaman. But U-Turn is there, very nice, because U-Turn's able to, I believe, knock out Mega Alakazam after rocks, which is really, really good. Meaning I can just click U-Turn every time I'm on Mega Alakazam. Whether he goes into Shaman or Tentacruel, I get momentum that way too. So it's very, very good. Choice Scarf, locking myself into Ice Beam is also pretty nice in the late game scenario, in case he has stuff like Tornadus and Noivern around. Even Shaman, like I was talking about. And then Hydro Pump is there for very strong damage. Dark Pulse can Oko Mega Alakazam if I'm in a scenario where our U-Turn can't kill it. Dark Pulse also just Okos Gengar as well, so it's just pretty nice coverage overall to have on the team. Didn't really have too many other thoughts on this. I mean, I guess I could have brought Spikes or something, considering my team's pretty offensive this week. Spikes spam into Mega Lopunny is pretty nice, so I could have ran that. But overall, I thought the 4 coverage moves were pretty nice on not Gengar, but Greninja this week. And that's the thought process on that. And then going into my Landorus Therian, we were running the Double Choice Scarf yet again. So last week we ran Double Choice Scarf, if you guys didn't know, and now this week we're running Double Choice Scarf again. And Landorus is rocking Choice Scarf here with Earthquake, U-Turn, Stone Edge, and Stealth Rock. I believe we're running enough speed on this to outspeed... Yeah, we're running enough speed on this with a Choice Scarf to outspeed... I think it's... Is it a Choice Scarf on his team? 273 times 1.5. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think it actually might be... Yeah, I think what I'm doing on this is I'm speed creeping a Mega Alakazam, speed creeping a max speed Mega Lopunny with my Choice Scarf, so I'm outspeeding a Mega Alakazam, basically creeping down on a Mega Lopunny, which is what I just said. But yeah, U-Turn on Landorus Therian always knocks out Mega Alakazam unless he's like a max HP variant or something, I believe. Even then, I believe it still has a good chance to knock out. Earthquake is just really good spam against his team. Just like last week, Earthquake has a very good matchup in general. Stone Edge is very good for Noivern and Tornadus in case he wants to try to switch into one of those on an Earthquake. Stone Edge has a very good chance to kill Tornadus unless he's running a good amount of bulk. And then this is our Stealth Rocker for this week because I feel like this thing also forces a good amount of switches and should be able to get Stealth Rocks against a lot of things, to be honest with you, which is very good. So that's the idea behind this. I decided I wanted to go Adamant with this speed creep just because I felt like I could afford to go this speed creep, thinking he would speed creep down my Mega Lopunny with Mega Alakazam, and that's his fastest one on his team, of course. And then Adamant overall gave me just stronger attacks in general. The Stone Edge was a very good chance to kill Tornadus, which is kind of why I wanted Adamant over Jolly. just for that chance, especially because Tornadus is Tornadus isn't a huge threat, but it is definitely a mon that I would not like. It's definitely a mon I would definitely be okay with getting rid of with Landorus. But anyways, getting into our next mon, this is probably the heat of the week, as we are bringing our Cobra Berry Amoongus right here with Nature Power, Sludge Bomb, Stun Spore, and Giga Drain. Now, and this is a modest Amoongus if you didn't see that right there. So, on his team, as you can see, he has the core of Tapu Koko and Tornadus Therian, which I do think both of them come to this game, Tornadus Therian especially. But if Tapu Koko decides to come to this game, what we have here is Nature Power. So if he sets the electric terrain, Nature Power turns into a special electric type move, which I believe does 100 base power. And with our modest investment, with 160 modest investment from our Amoongus, after Stealth Rocks, I believe Tornadus always dies to Nature's Power if the electric trains up, of course. And as you can see, we have our Cobra Berry right there, as we are easily going to live even a Z Hurricane from Tornadus, which is very, very comforting to know. And we can always regenerate her off the health if necessary. Cobra Berry is also very nice to cover a Z Brave Bird Tapu Koko if he decides to bring that, which this is ultimately my best check to Tapu Koko in this game. Does a very good job with that. It can also help check Gengar to an extent and Stun Sport, which is also pretty nice in my opinion. As well as Nature's Power and Electric Terrain does about half to Tentacruel as well. So Nature's Power isn't necessarily just for Tornadus. It does big damage to Tentacruel, big damage to things across the board. It's also a very good Shaman check. I didn't mention that. Offensive Shaman's a pretty big threat against my team. And Amoongus is just a good check to that in general, outside of like Psychic and stuff. So I gotta be careful about that, of course. But yeah. That's the idea behind Amoongus. I don't really remember. I think I just really wanted the 160 modest in special attack, just so I could always knock out Tornadus after rocks, and then I threw the rest in special defense and HP to try to help take on Tapu Koko as best as possible. As I thought special was better than physical this game for Tapu Koko. But then last but not least, we have my Assault Vest Slowbro right here with Scald, Psyshock, Ice Beam, and Shadow Ball, with mainly good amount of special defense with a modest nature yet again. Don't necessarily remember what the modest nature was for. I think it's to 2-hit KO Mega Alakazam with Shadow Ball guaranteed, which, like I said, I'm banking that he's not Calm Mind. If he has Calm Mind, recover on this Mega Alakazam with like Shadow Ball and Psyshock. Or it could be like Focus Blast and Psyshock. That'd be a pretty big threat still, even though that couldn't hit the Slowbro very well. That would still be a pretty big threat, so I'm really banking that he's not Calm Mind, because I don't really have a way to wear the Mega Alakazam down as like toxic wise, but I do have a couple mons that can check it and like 2-hit KO it and stuff, which is very good. And Slowbro is my best mon to take on Mega Alakazam, as it can take 2 hits from any move, even Shadow Ball, if he's modest, which is very good to know. And then, like I said, Shadow Ball on my Slowbro should be able to 2-hit KO him if he's not rocking a very fat Mega Alakazam. And then the coverage here is very good. Psyshock can always OHKO Gengar. We can take a Shadow Ball from that quite easily, even if he's choice specs, we take one. Scald's good to have on deck. We can burn things and whatnot. Shaman is a pretty free switch into this, I guess. Ice Beam isn't necessarily going to be doing too much. And obviously, if we get a Scald burn, he can just switch out and get the what is the ability? Natural Cure. He can just Natural Cure that off or whatnot. So Shaman is definitely a good switch into this, but I feel like I can deal with Shaman decently enough with my Amoongus on the team. Overall, I will say Shaman is a pretty big threat, though. Probably the biggest threat to my team that I didn't mention outside of Gengar and Mega Alakazam. But yeah, this is just a good spit F mon on the team for sure. Like I said, most of his attackers on the team are especially offensive anyways, so that's something I got to keep in mind. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into the match, and I'll cut, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are here in the battle up against SwordsofThrustice and his Crocodile team that I can't remember at the moment, but as you guys can see, he decided to bring the Mega Alakazam, Tapu Koko, Tornadus Therian, Tentacruel, Shaman, and Gengar. Didn't really tell you guys what 6 I expected him to bring, but these are definitely most likely the brings I expected him to bring. Tentacruel, don't really know what else it would do here besides really help take on Greninja. That's what I mainly see it doing here. And as well as potentially setting up like Toxic Spikes or something, even though I do have an Amoongus, I can soak those up. But looking at the team, like I said, I expected the Mega Alakazam. Tapu Koko is definitely a good bring. It's a top pick, so it makes sense. Tornadus Therian's a big threat. Gengar is a huge threat there, and then offensive Shaman could definitely be a big threat if you decide to bring it. But my thought process with this lead was go ahead and lead Landorus Therian. I thought I had a pretty safe matchup against anything. I could U-turn out against something that is named Mega Alakazam or Shaman. Most likely I would U-turn out on Shaman thinking it's not Choice Scarf. I don't think Choice Scarf makes too much sense this game for a Shaman. But yeah. And then it ultimately just had a pretty good matchup where either I could spam Earthquake or Stone Edge or whatever from the beginning. So that was my idea with that. And yeah, he's just going to, oh my goodness, he's just going to lead with Tornadus. So turn 1 right from the beginning, I made a play that I definitely immediately regret, as there was really no reason to make this play this early on. And that was that I'm going to click Stone Edge right here. Now, like I said, with my adamant nature and my investment, I had 252 investment. I had an extremely strong chance to take out Tornadus Therian if he wasn't too bulk invested. But as we're going to see right here, I'm going to click Stone Edge, and he lives on 1%. And yeah, that's going to suck because he's going to knock me out right here with the Flinium Z Hurricane. So right there, I definitely regret that turn 1 play, as he can definitely still regenerate off health, which ultimately I knew he had, obviously I knew he had a regenerate, but I didn't consider that in the moment. And I was like, yeah, he's going to be able to just regen a bunch of that off, and I lose my Scarf Landers, which ultimately had a really good matchup here. It was another thing that I could just click U-turn on Mega Alakazam. I could click Earthquake Spam in the late game, potentially if Tornadus was gone. I just had a really good matchup, so just a really poor play on my part. I could have definitely scouted for that. Gardevoir, like I said, is a great switch into Tornadus. I could have just went Gardevoir, taken about 60-65% I believe from that Z Hurricane, and then even just regenerated off an attack from it, which could have been very, very good in the long run, or just protected and got my lefties back. And I could have pivoted throughout my Gardevoir and like Slowbro just to get Regenerator and whatnot, and play around this Tornadus a lot better, as yeah, that definitely sucked. Not a good turn 1 for me at all. I weakened Tornadus for now, but that is for now. I'm going to go into my Greninja just to click U-turn right here. It doesn't really reveal that I'm Scarf because Greninja is faster than Tornadus to begin with. But clicking U-turn obviously gives me momentum, as he's going to go into Tentacruel. And I believe I take this opportunity to go right into my Gardevoir, as my Gardevoir is very Spadef. It can take mini hits from this Tentacruel, and I'm just going to fire off a Side Shock right here, seeing what he wants to go for, as he shows to be Black Sludge. As he throws up a knockoff right here, which is kind of unfortunate because I lose my leftovers, so this isn't going to be a very good check to the Mega Alakazam at all. He can still take down Tornadus, but losing my leftovers is definitely unfortunate. But he's going to take a huge hit from Side Shock right there, and then choose to go out into a Shaman as I throw up a Wish the following turn. And then he throws up the Seed Flare. I kind of wanted to just scout right here to see if he was offensive or whatnot, and as you're going to see, he is definitely offensive, as the Seed Flare just did 49%, and he reveals the Life Orb. So I'm going to fire off a Moonblast right here, I believe, as it's going to do a clean 45%, and I get a special attack drop, which is pretty big and pretty annoying for him in the long run, and I catch my Wish right there. So right here, he's going to click Synthesis. I kind of wanted to see if he had that, so I was going to stay in and scout for that and throw up another Wish. And being that I don't really have a great switch in to Shaman outside of Amoongus, I was just going to stay in and go ahead and put him in a position where I know he has to Synthesis again. And as I click Side Shock right here, thinking he might go into Gengar, trying to get an offensive momentum play on my Moonblast, but it was pretty safe here, as it's going to force him to click Synthesis the following turn as I catch him another Wish. And I have a really safe switch into my Amoongus right here. I feel as he's definitely going to go for Synthesis this turn, and my Amoongus can definitely just pressure this out with Sludge Bomb. And he does not have a good switch into Sludge Bomb. He's going to just switch off, or sack off his Tentacruel, I should say, which is very good for me. Obviously, we're at a 6-5 advantage now at this point. And he's going to bring his Tapu Koko, which I thought was definitely strange, as he's going to just U-turn out into his Gengar now. I definitely could see why he made that play. In case he was expecting me to have Spore, he would go into Tapu Koko, then U-turn out into Gengar, so he could play it safe there, which definitely makes sense. I'm guessing he expected Spore. But at the same time, he's going to reveal a move here in a second that could cover the Spore play as well. So I don't know exactly what the thought process behind that was, but right here I'm going to pivot out into my Slowbro, as it can definitely take a hit from this Gengar. Shadow Ball is definitely a threat, but I gotta figure out what he is, and switching to my Sylvest Slowbro can definitely be helpful here. But he's going to reveal Substitute right here, which is kind of why I thought it was weird to set the Electric Terrain and then go into Gengar, because he could have subbed in my Amoongus' Spore anyways. So not sure about that, but anyways, Slowbro is in now, and Gengar, I thought he was going to be sub-toxic at this point, so I switched back into Amoongus to scout for the toxic, as he's actually just going to fire off a Shadow Ball right here. And that's kind of unfortunate because we take a decent chunk right here, and I'm in a position where I don't really pivot into this Gengar very well at all, especially since my Gardevoir lost its leftovers. It definitely cannot take on this Gengar 1v1, even though he's not even item boosting. But he is max special attack timid. After we saw that Shadow Ball right there, we do know that information. But he's getting Black Sludge recovery, which is definitely unfortunate, and I feel like I'm in a position where I'm just going to go ahead and start firing off some Nature Power Electrics. I didn't really want to reveal it, but at this moment, I felt like Amoongus was kind of expendable, just because Tentacruel's dead. It was kind of there to help take hits from Tentacruel, and overall, it's not exactly the greatest in this game otherwise. But we are going to break this up from Gengar, and which is very good. We're going to break this up from Gengar right there, and he's going to knock me out. I'm going to bring in Mega Lopunny right here, as the only way he lives this is if he's max HP. He has a very good chance to live this. And I thought with the damage he was doing already with the Shadow Balls, I knew he was max special attack, or at least very close to it, and I thought his Gengar would have enough speed for my Kartana, which is definitely something I thought he would want to outspeed. So I thought he wouldn't have very much bulk on this, and I thought Mega Lopunny clicking return right here was very safe, as if you look at his team, he does not have a switch into return. We already know that's offensive Shaman, so that's not going to be able to switch into returns. And he's actually going to go into Shaman right here. I guess sacking it off. I definitely don't think he knew I definitely think he knew he died to 2. But yeah, sacking Shaman I guess was fine there, as that's definitely okay with me, as it was a huge threat for my team. I didn't have much Amoongus anymore, so I was glad he threw it out the window. As he's just going to bring in the Mega Alakazam right here, and I'm going to go bring in my Slowbro, as like I said, this is designed to take on Mega Alakazam. Now, one thing I kind of didn't take into account was him tracing Regenerator, which is ultimately really annoying, because he can afford to stay in and weaken down my Slowbro a good amount, and then even switch out, because he gets the Regenerator, which is really annoying, as obviously I'll get the Regenerator too, but him being able to do that over time is also just pretty annoying, because my Slowbro at the same time kind of has to take on Mega Alakazam and Gengar to an extent, being that Gengar is a very big offensive threat against my team. I do have Greninja and Mega Lopunny to outspeed it, but if I'm in a position where Gardevoir or Slowbro's in against it, he can kind of just click moves, so that's kind of scary there, as he's going to click Psychic as my Slowbro comes in, and now he's going to click Shadow Ball. I click Scald right here thinking he might go Tapu Koko to take little damage from the Shadow Ball and get a lot of momentum, because I don't have a very good switch into Tapu Koko, as you can see now either, but I'm going to get a burn right here, which is actually pretty big as well in the Scald. Weaken him over time. If he doesn't have recover on that, then the Scald is very big, because it's put him closer in range of the Fake Out from my Mega Lopunny. So definitely appreciate that. As I'm going to pull a switch into my Greninja right here, as he makes a very great play. This was a terrible play on my part though, I will say. I'll go back to it real quick, as he clicks Shadow Ball right here. And obviously him knowing that I wouldn't want to let my Slowbro get really weakened, seeing that it's probably my best answer to this Mega Alakazam at this moment, he makes a very good play on this next turn, clicking Dazzling Gleam, as I tried to get the offensive momentum going into my Greninja just to click U-turn this thing. But that was a very big choke on my part, going into my Scarf Greninja. This was something to always outspeed Tapu Koko, which if I weaken the Koko enough, I can just click Dark Pulse, or can just click Hydro Pump against it, which is good for me obviously. But yeah, that was a very bad play on my part, as he made a good play, like I said already. But this is going to put me in a position where I can go into, I believe, my Gardevoir now. As I go into my Gardevoir, and I believe I trace his Regenerator after he traced my Slowbro's Regenerator, which I thought was pretty cool. And now I can fire off a Psyshock right here, as I didn't want to let Gengar come in on Moonblast, so that was the idea behind that, as his Tapu Koko takes 45%. I protect right here just to see what he wants to go for. I didn't think he'd set up by any means, so he's going to click Thunderbolt, and that's actually very comforting to know, because he didn't reveal U-turn earlier, so I thought it was a chance that he was physical, and that would have been very bad for me in this moment. But he does reveal that he is most likely special in the rest of his moveset. We know he's not Z-move, because Tornadus already blew its Z-Hurricane. So I figured I could probably eat a hit right here and just knock this thing out with a Moonblast, and Tapu Koko being gone would be great for my team. He's going to throw up a Thunderbolt, does 42%, quite a bit of damage just because Electric Terrain's up, and Tapu Koko is very strong with that, and with the Electric Terrain up. But I am going to be able to knock out Tapu Koko right there, which is great. He's going to bring in the Gengar right here, and now this turn is this turn's pretty big, right? Him doing the calcs on my Gardevoir right here, he should know that Shadow Ball does not guarantee a kill on me, but it does have a chance to kill. It's not a very good chance, I don't believe, but it is a chance. But at the same time, Sludge Wave is a guaranteed OHKO, so at this point, and I really want to keep my Gardevoir around, because Gardevoir can regenerate off this health and help take on the Mega Alakazam and Tornadus still. I can pass Wishes still, I can do a lot of good stuff for my team. So I'm going to make a very, I guess, aggressive play right here, but also a play I feel like I needed to make, and go into my Slowbro right here on the Sludge Wave, as I can take a Sludge Wave into a Shadow Ball from this Gengar. You're going to see Sludge Wave does 26, and right here I am just going to throw off a Psyshock. It's a guaranteed knockout on this Gengar. We saw that he's Black Sludge, so he can't be Pyapa Berry or anything like that. And I'm just going to throw off a Psyshock. If he goes to Mega Alakazam, that's fine. I can proceed to Shadow Ball the turn after. If he goes to Tornadus, I think he just dies, because of how weak the Tornadus is from the Stone Edge before, even with his Regenerator. But right here, he's going to stay in and click the Shadow Ball. And we're going to live that on 8%, and we're just going to click Psyshock and knock out the Gengar, which is great. Gengar is out of the way. That is the main thing for Gardevoir, that Gardevoir is looking very solid at this moment, which is very good. He does get the Curse Body right there, which doesn't really matter at all. Actually, he's just going to bring in Mega Alakazam. I thought he probably should have brought in Tornadus right here and clicked U-turn, which he does reveal he does have at the end of the game right here, which I guess I kind of spoiled. But he does reveal that he has U-turn on his Tornadus, which I thought was kind of weird. If he went Tornadus and just clicked U-turn, he got Regenerator health back from it. But at the same time, I guess he did want to trace Regenerate with Mega Alakazam, so that does make a lot of sense too. And right here, he's just going to be able to click Dazzling Gleam, I guess, in case I went Mega Lopunny, which would have just been a terrible play in general. But he's going to knock me out. I go into Gardevoir right here, because even if I go Mega Lopunny, like I click Fake Out, it doesn't kill him. And then I'm forced to either die with Mega Lopunny or go into Gardevoir and take 2 hits, where I could just go into Gardevoir right now and take 1 hit and fire off an attack myself. But right here, I'm just going to fire off a Moonblast. And I'm in a very good position. Alright, fire for Protect first. Not too sure why I clicked Protect right there. I guess it was just to protect. Oh, it racks up burn damage, that is why. Racks up a little bit of burn damage, even though he has Regenerator. Racking him as much burn damage is really nice, just because Fake Out from my Mega Lopunny in the back is very good. But yeah, I'm going to fire for Moonblast right here. He fires off Shadow Ball, does 47%. Without my leftovers, that is a 2-hit KO. So I fire for Wish right here. Which is actually going to be very good for me. So I think I decide to Protect right here as he makes the play into his Tornadus, which ultimately isn't a big problem for me. The only thing that would be really bad for me right here is if he has Iron Tail on his Tornadus, which is definitely a possibility, but I don't think is the move coverage for it. He's going to fire off a U-turn, get more Regenerator back with his Tornadus, and as you can see, he's going to keep tracing the Regenerator from my Gardevoir because it's a huge Regenerator circle going on between Gardevoir, Mega Alakazam, and Slowbro. Slowbro started it all ever since it died to the Mega Alakazam. My Gardevoir's been coming in and tracing the Alakazam, and then he's been switching out, tracing my Gardevoir's Regenerator, so Regenerator is just a huge theme here at the end of this game, as it's pretty nice for both of us. I'm just going to fire for Moonblast though. It is a very clean 2-hit KO, and at this moment he has another choice. He can switch out into his Tornadus, which is the correct play because he needs to keep his Mega Alakazam alive to beat Mega Lopunny in the back. And then if he made the other play of just sacking his Mega Alakazam right here, then my Mega Lopunny would win. So he's going to make the play into Tornadus right here. I knew it was very free for him, so I just throw up a Wish. I throw off a Moonblast first, which leaves him at 18%. And I believe right here I throw off a Wish, which instead of a Moonblast, which because I knew his Hurricane could only do about, I think it was like 33 to 39%, so I wanted to be above a percentage where I could take on Shadow Balls from the Mega Alakazam. Obviously I'm risking Confusion with the Hurricane, but he's also risking missing in general. As you're going to see, he misses his first Hurricane, which is huge for me. It definitely sucks for him. We are going to be able to get a Wish up right here, and then he's going to fire off another Hurricane. As you can see, it does 34%. No Confusion, we're just going to be able to knock him out with a Moonblast right here. And now we get the Wish on the following turn, which puts us at a range where Shadow Ball still can 2-hit KO us, but it gives us obviously a great chance to get off an attack on him, which is ultimately what I wanted, so Fake Out can sweep in the end. Now, he's going to trace my Regen again, which doesn't matter at this point because it's his last mon. But I'm going to fire for Moonblast right here. Now, this gets very interesting. He throws off a Shadow Ball, does 53%, and obviously I'm 2-hit KO'd. I throw off a Moonblast right here, get a special attack drop, and yeah, this is huge. I'll explain why here in a second. He's going to take more burn damage right here. After the special attack drop, he's not able to knock out my Gardevoir, and I live on 1% and knock him out with the Moonblast. Now, the reason that special attack drop was huge is because his Mega Alakazam's last move that he never revealed, he had Psychic, he had Shadow Ball, and he had Dazzling Gleam. His last move he did not reveal was Protect. So he could Protect on my Mega Lopunny's Fake Out in the back, which would have ultimately won in the game if he was able to kill my Gardevoir. So that's why that special attack drop was huge on my part. It definitely sucked because he live commed this game as well, and I knew he had Protect. He obviously wasn't lying about that. So definitely very unfortunate way it had to end. But one thing I felt a little bit justified towards the beginning of the battle was I looked at the calc with the Tornadus Therian. He ended up having 88 HP and 4 defense in his Tornadus Therian, and my Adamant Max Attack Stone Edge from my Landorus Therian had like an 83% chance to always kill that thing, so I thought that was a little bit, I lived on one and ended up knocking out my Landorus, which was huge. Like I said, that was still a misplay on my part, but if I killed that Tornadus, Landorus still being around would have been huge for Mega Alakazam in the late run, so that wasn't hacks at all. I don't consider rolls hacks, but if my Landorus did get the kill, then I still would have had it around for the Mega Alakazam in the end game. But nonetheless, I did kind of hack him at the end of the game. He probably should have won this game. Don't know for sure. It's all theory modding, but we are able to win it 2-0 at the end of this game. Not Mega Gardevoir, but regular Gardevoir coming in clutch for us again. Picking up 3 kills, and now has 6 kills, 0 deaths for the season so far. And we are 2-0 at +4 differentials, so if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you really would appreciate it, guys. I'm going to try to consistently upload the rest of the league like I talked about and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say from here. If you guys have any suggestions for, I don't know, I guess, I don't know why I said that, actually, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the game, guys. And if you enjoyed this, yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.